Hey everybody, it's Miranda here with a project for the Piece by Piece design team, and it is Beverly's Etsy store. She has the most beautiful laces. Of course, I'll have a link down below, and then also all of the laces that I used on here, I will put links to them individually to her store down below. I don't have any of them left to show you like what they look like, but I will link them all below in an individual link. So this is a configuration box / printer's tray that I created for Miss Juliana. I think it's going to be pretty obvious it's for her, and she's already seen a sneak peek, so just go ahead and say it. But she wanted something really shabby chic, and she wanted a printer's tray, and she is doing her new craft room like all in creams and whites, and I wanted to add a little bit of pink in there because that's just so her. So I used the Prima Tea Time paper, and then I just went really shabby on this, and I had a lot of fun with it. The outside of the configuration box was just a frame I had in my stash, and it was like double this thickness. It was a really wide frame, so it was like out to here. So I just took it out to my honey's shop, and he trimmed it down to this size for me, so the configuration boxes that I had left over would fit inside of there. So I did that, and I just lined it all with the tea time paper, and then on the edge on the inside up here I lined it with the paper as well, and just distressed everything up. I also put a little bit of lace and stuff coming out, tore back the paper a little bit, took some gesso and kind of went over the whole thing just to kind of whitewash it, make it look more shabby. And then I had some configuration boxes left from past projects, but I didn't have quite enough, so I just kind of spaced them out a little bit, left a little bit of gap in between, and then some of them, like right here, that doesn't have one in it. But it looks like it did, so it worked out really well. I put some feet on the bottom. They were just some game pieces I had in my stash, and I just glued them together. I think it was like 5 of them, and wrapped them in the tea time paper too. So that is the outside of it. I also added this big door handle to the top up here. Really pretty. I had this one in my stash as well, so I just adhered it to the top with some E6000. Okay. And let's see, I printed out some vintage lady pictures, and I really wanted to incorporate those in there because Juliana is always using like the vintage lady images. So I printed out 3 of them, like really tiny photos, and I placed those throughout here. I'll show you when I go compartment by compartment. But I took all of the boxes and the whole inside of the frame, and I painted it with gesso, and also went in with some saltwater taffy Lindy Stamp Gang and sprayed it all, so it's like a really pale pink shimmer going on all of the boxes. Like, I don't know if you can tell on the inside of that one, but I just kind of let it pull and run down. So okay, so I guess we'll start at the top one. I lined each one with a sheet of the Prima Tea Time paper. All of the boxes are backed with the paper, and this one just has one of the Prima resin little angels, and I stamped Fly, that is a Prima stamp as well, onto some of the tea time paper and just made like a little banner. I tied a little bow here out of seam binding and some crochet trim or crochet thread, and I put a little vintage button over here on the bottom as well. Okay, so the second compartment, I took some of this beautiful, it's like a gray smoky charcoal type color lace from Bev's store, and again I will have it linked below. It's one of my favorites. I use this a lot on this printer's tray. It's really, really pretty. So just on the top of that box with that beautiful trim, you can see the vintage lady picture on the inside in there. I think I got those off of Pinterest, and again I just lined the inside of it with some of the tea time paper. I have a little horse head glass chess piece over here in the corner, and this is a wooden little banner type scroll thing that I painted white. It had a sentiment already on it, and I didn't like that, so I just reversed it and painted it white and then stamped antiques on there. And again, that was a Prima stamp. Over here I have some more of her beautiful, beautiful trims. This is one of my favorite ones too. It's a really thick one. I'll have a link to this one specifically down below as well. And I just created like a little fan shape with 3 of the pieces of the lace, and I used a lot of I Am Roses flowers on here. That's just one of the two-toned I Am Roses flowers there. Right here I have one of the Prima Inglewood Bowl and resin pieces. Really, really pretty. It's one of my favorite ones. So I put that up there in the corner. And then back there I have one of the Tim Holtz alpha cards, and it's the J for her name. And I just kind of went over it with my white picket fence distress stain to kind of whitewash it and tone it down, and just kind of pleated it and stuck it down in there. I started with some cheesecloth over here, and I have it going all the way in and out of a lot of these boxes, but it started right here, and you can see the saltwater taffy pink on there. I just kind of sprayed it when I was all done to give it a little bit of a two-toned effect. I have a little antique pin nib right here from my stash. Okay, so this compartment I used one of those big cameos with the filigree frame, and it was like a bright gold color, brassish looking, so I just used silver rub and buff to tone down that frame and make it blend in more. So I just put that in there. It's absolutely beautiful. And I just took some more of that cheesecloth and I also put a couple little vintage buttons over there in the corner. Okay, and then going down to the big compartment down below that one, I have another vintage lady image tucked in there, and I also used some more of that beautiful smoky lace from Beverly Store. Again, it'll be linked below, and you can barely see the little lady's image in there. Hopefully y'all can pick it up, but it's really, really pretty. I have a big seam binding bow. It's like a triple layered bow tucked in back there, and I have the ends of it coming all the way down and kind of pleated going down the box below it. This is a I don't remember if it's Dusty Attic or what brand it is, but it's a chipboard, really pretty clock. So I just cut that in half, and then as I was putting it on there, I kind of broke a couple of pieces off on accident, but then I liked the way it looked, so I went on the outside and broke like this piece off as well. Thought it made it look like it was really old and worn and shabby. So I painted that white and then went over it with a little bit of pink acrylic paint as well. Over here I have another cameo, and it's like a dusty rose colored cameo. I have a big pink button tied to the top of that. Again, I put some more of that beautiful lace from the top over here and created like a fan type shape coming out behind the I Am Rose's flower. That's one of the R77s, and I sprayed that with scintillating silver, so it's super, super shimmery. Okay, the next compartment's over. Let me zoom back up just a little bit. Sorry, y'all. I have some more of the cheesecloth coming in and out, and I have a little Prima clock tucked in back there. And this is a clothespin for my stash that I just put some of the tea time paper on to kind of mimic the Prima ones. And this is a Prima button from the romance novel, and it has like these ads on it. Really, really pretty. So I went over that with a little bit of gesso just to tone it down, and tied some of the crochet thread in there in like a double bow coming out. And then this one is one of my favorite compartments. Juliana's favorite word sentiment is dream. She absolutely loves it, so I had to incorporate that in there somehow. I had this vintage doily from my stash, so just put it in there and kind of have it coming in and out of the box. And I took some pearl strand that I had and just kind of weaved it in and out of there, and then I adhered my Scrabble pieces in there, and I went over those with gesso as well to kind of whitewash will make them more shabby, and I used different sized ones because I like the way that looked a lot better. So it just says dream, and I just have some more little buttons over here, and it's all just coming out of the box. I really like that. I hope she likes that part too. The next compartment, I have a little filigree heart. I think I got this one, I cannot remember, y'all, but there's been a couple of videos here on YouTube. There's a lady who sells these wood filigree pieces, and that's one of those. And it's really pretty, so I just went over it with white gesso or white paint just to kind of make it look more shabby. There's the other vintage lady that I had printed out, and I went over all the photos with a little bit of gesso as well just to kind of tone it down. This is a metal penny farthing charm, and it's like a bright gold, so I just kind of toned it down again just so it would blend in a little bit better. I have some more of the cheesecloth coming out from there and just kind of laying down just to make it look really shabby. Now we're going to go down to the bottom. Again, you can see that lace there. I absolutely love this lace. It's one of my favorite ones, so I put the other piece there. I have a old, like, fashioned clothespin, I think it's called. I can't remember the name of it, but I painted it white, and I took some of this lace from Beverly Store that I will have linked below. She has this in a ton of different colors. This was the white one, and I just wrapped it around a couple of times and have some of it coming down out of the box. This is a Melissa Francis wooden resin frame that I had painted it to use on a different project a while back and didn't end up using it, so I just had to go over it with a little bit of gesso to tone it down again. I stamped Loved in there. I think that's a Prima stamp as well. Over here I have some I Am Rose's flowers. These are really, really pretty. Sprayed them all with scintillating silver to make them really shimmery. This is a filigree frame, or a filigree piece from Lindy's Stamp Gang. I got it in my last order. And I went over it with gesso and then heat set it so it would bubble up a little bit. I don't think my camera's focusing, but hopefully you can see those little bubbles on there. And I went over it with a little bit of acrylic paint as well. On the inside of this box I have a little salt shaker. Hopefully y'all can tell. I picked that up a little bit, and I just wrapped around it with a little bit of the paper and put one of Beverly's little resin bows here. This is the white one, tiny little bow, super cute. So I put that on the bottle and I filled it up with pearls. It actually moves around in there, so Put that one there. This compartment, I have one of Beverly's little resin bird nests, which I absolutely love. I've already used mine all up. They are absolutely precious. I love, love, love using these. So I went over the nest part with a little bit of gesso again, just to kind of tone it down. And the little birdie was white, so I didn't have to do anything to that. I did take a little bit of the crochet thread and created like some little circles down there, just to kind of add to the nest. I put a Tim Holtz ticket back there that says Soar, and I have a Prima key that I whitewashed as well. Over here I have a couple of different little I Am Roses flowers and then one of the little Prima velvet trinkets coming out of that. And then the last one, I have a lot of cheesecloth in here and a really pretty lace applique over there in the corner. I know she loves those, so I put that there. I have a Tim Holtz numeral back there in the corner, and I whitewashed it and put some rhinestones on it. I have some pearl sprays kind of coming out of the corner over there, and a big light bulb. It's not a Tim Holtz one, it's actually one that Linda had sent me. It's really big. So I put that one in there. I have a little safety pin and then a couple of little buttons. So that is pretty much it, y'all. And I hope you guys saw the pictures at the beginning. There will be a link to the piece by piece below. Of course, all of the laces that I used will be linked below. And then also I'm going to link up the Piece by Pieces YouTube channel here in case you guys haven't subbed to Beverly over there. And then also the Piece by Piece blog below, because you guys can follow us over there, and Beverly's always featuring all the different designers on there. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I hope you like it, and I hope Juliana does too. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.